Welcome to this video covering the second stage of my conflict management model course, and this stage looks at the letter A, standing for address the issue or conversation. In many ways, this A could also simply stand for taking action, meaning having that planned conversation. Bearing in mind that we've gone through consider ways to address the issue in the first video, it would be pointless not then going on and actioning all that effort and planning and actually sitting down and having the discussion. So let's assume then that you're having the meeting with the individual at the time and the location set by you. We know that there'll be no distractions and that there's going to be plenty of time, if needed, to allow for the conversation to take place and reach a conclusion. Addressing the issue looks at ways to build rapport, looks at ways of engaging with the individual so that you feel more relaxed. Maybe they even get to the point where they feel relaxed and you can be focused. And they will not immediately go into a defensive state. Addressing the issue then is really looking at rapport building techniques. Whether you mirror the other person, your questioning techniques. Are you making statements and just telling them, or are you coaching and asking questions? Those techniques will involve how you pause, how you pose the question. It will look at whether you're asking leading questions or open questions that then funnel down into closed questions. So it will look at your communication skills in respect of the tone of your voice, your body language and NVCs, non-verbal communications. It will also look at your listening skills. Are you actively listening to the other person's responses? It is a specific skill in itself, active listening. Often we actually are formulating our next question, but as we discussed earlier in the other video, if you know what the next question is, you don't have to think about it. You can put the time and effort into listening to the other person's answer. Address the issue also looks at the difference between confront and confrontation. If we're not careful, many discussions move into the confrontation phase instead of confront. Confrontation means that emotions that we talked about earlier have got in the way, either your emotions or their emotions. Confrontation means that we may have reached the point where we've got into people being defensive, being angry or withdrawn, possibly even violent. So address the issue looks at the difference and how to avoid being confrontational, however remain confronting. It also looks at the fact that it's not necessarily a debate. This is about you managing the conversation and staying in control. So let's go back to the scenario in the first video about poor performance and 30% of employees being paid their annual bonus despite underperforming. Are you really going to be able to go into that meeting and get the person to agree that they shouldn't get their bonus? It's not about getting the other person necessarily to agree to what you're telling them. It's about them coming to an understanding of your reasons and rationale for reaching the conclusion that you have. And not going into the meeting expecting agreement often is enough just to take the pressure off you, because you're not facing unrealistic expectations. So, just to conclude, address the issue looks at rapport building techniques, engage and explain. It looks at communication skills, including your tone, your body language. It looks at your listening skills and communication skills. It looks at the difference between confronting versus confrontation. And it allows you to have a fruitful, productive, and professional meeting. It also, with the planning and the way you've conducted the meeting, allows you to understand all the issues involved, which is my next video.